Now, Sunday's drone attack on the police station at Kwabenya here in Accra, in which 7 suspects broke jail, has left residents of the community terrified. The armed assailants, as well as the 7 suspects who fled, are on the police wanted list. There were some reports suggesting some of the suspects had turned themselves in, but the police has since denied it. A statement issued in the last few hours urged the public to ignore the false reports. It reads, the Accra Regional Police Command is debunking false information, making the rounds on social media that all suspects who absconded from lawful custody at the Kwabenya police station have surrendered themselves to the Medina police, apart from the Nigerian who was involved in a robbery. Recipients of this false news must disregard. The command strongly suspects this information is intended to divert the attention of the public from their ongoing pursuit. Police will caution the general public against channeling unverified information on the social media space. A search for the escapees continue unabated, and credible information on the subject matter is still welcomed on police hotlines 191, MTN Vodafone toll-free, 18555, and they give other numbers, and this is signed by Fiatenge, the Assistant Superintendent of Police and the Head of Public Affairs at the Accra region. Now, a police inspector was killed in the attack on the police station, and there are reports suggesting 2 other officers on duty at the station were helpless during the attack. Residents of Kwabenya and its environs are particularly worried about the brazen attack, as it makes them rather vulnerable.
We are at the Kwabenya police station, the scene of the deadly attack on Sunday dawn. Well, we are told by some sources here at the Kwabenya police station that the officer who was killed in that attack was actually sitting in his vehicle here, this resting vehicle right behind me. We are told that he was on inspection duties as he is originally stationed at the Ashoman police station. Again, we are told by some of the police officers here that when the hooligans stormed the police station, they demanded the keys of the cells here. He refused to do that, and we were told he was held and taken to the frontage of the charge office here, where he was fatally shot. One of the police officers who was behind the counter inside the charge station got alarmed by the situation and then handed over the keys to the hooligans who were carrying arms. There, we are told they freed 7 people who were inside the cells. 7 others who were in the cells chose to stay back. They have been transferred to the Medina police station. We are told police officers here on the ground are not willing to talk to us. They are tight-lipped on the matter, directing us to the police hierarchy. But some residents we've been speaking to tell us that they are afraid and they are deeply alarmed by the situation.
Sunday, they see and the Miankasana, if I'm in dreamy pa, a son said, the course war no, Ahometi. Na police one boy and Hobaya, or more Sanko Mukrayan, to me, Akko police station. Ako boni petu ewo ho eyi ni pefi sel edumawa besenko brother as we tinye na police for company yo mu say ya na ye de no man no ye dan.
Okay, well, he says he's extremely terrified by what happened. He's saying that if police officers mandated to protect them as citizens are suffering attacks such as this, what then would happen to people like him who really do not have the strength to be able to ward off some of these attacks?
I'm very, 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 very terrified because what is going on in this modern Ghana is too seriously. Because there are so many foreigners are moving around in this country. They don't even have a paper. They are moving around. Even at least by 12, 11 that way, you can see the Nigerian guys moving around, smoking weed and things. So moving here and there, doing unnecessary things in this modern Ghana. So we beg, we need government, we want government to do something with it. Because the foreigners, at first, Ghana, they don't have that kind of thing in this Ghana.
I take the news seriously. Yesterday, I've been in church, so I'm at the church. Then one of my colleagues called me that they shoot one man at the Atomic police station. Me too. I feel sad because the man, I know the man very well.
Oh, you know him?
I know him, the man that was dead. No? And one of my friends too is there. I think his name is Numu. We usually call him Numu. He too is at the scene. He's a police officer. So he too calls me and he said they shoot one of his maid. I said, wow, why? Because police station, then they'll go and shoot over there. Then what about the civilians? We are moving around. How is our security?
Now, Information Minister Mustafa Hamid has however sought to assure residents that police is on the hunt for the assailants.
There is a manhunt for these criminal elements, and we have no doubt in our minds that they will be brought to face justice. Government takes this opportunity to express its deepest sympathies to the family of the deceased policeman, Inspector Emmanuel Ashilevi. While this is one of the isolated incidents that have unsettled the Ghanaian population, we wish to continue to assure the Ghanaian people that the security agencies are working to ensure the general safety of the population. The preventive mechanism of the police service remains intact, which helps to nip such occurrences in the bud before they become full-blown criminal activity. One such example is the diligence of the police service, which, with the cooperation of the public, led to the exposure of certain people who had in their possession explosives which they could have used to harm the population. The police continues to deploy this preventive mechanism to ensure that criminal elements are arrested before they deploy their activity. As everywhere else in the world, certain criminal elements manage to once in a while beat the system in order to perpetuate their crimes. When this occurs, the police service has worked hard to arrest the perpetrators and make sure that they face justice. In the case of the criminal gang that killed 2 police officers in Drobonso in the Sechirafran Plains of the Eastern region, 7 people have been arrested in connection with that crime and are currently facing the law. Government, on its part, is committed to equipping the security agencies to enable them do their job to the utmost. Recently, the President outdoored over 100 out of a possible 200 vehicles for the security services. Motorbikes and other logistics are also being deployed to augment the logistic base of the police and security agencies. We therefore call on the media to support the work of the police by giving publicity to the positive activities of the police and also publicizing police alerts.
We're still staying with this story. We're taking a break to bring you more, but still ahead in this bulletin. And on this story, the Deputy Interior Minister has led some top police executives, or some top police chiefs to visit the Kwabenya police station, where we had a jailbreak on Sunday dawn. And then the widow of, or the wife of the police officer who was killed in the incident has also been speaking with Joy News. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now, government is rejecting claims that the country is currently facing a security crisis following the killing of a police officer and the subsequent jailbreak at the Kwabenya District Police Headquarters. Inspector Emmanuel Ashile was yesterday shot by some gunmen who broke jail to free 7 persons from custody, one of them a Nigerian. Now, the Deputy Minister responsible for Interior, Henry Quartey, says the government is working hard to combat crime across the country. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson has more on this report.
Now let me be quick to also inform you that the police are working very hard. We are investigating to ensure that by the grace of God, we'll be able to catch up on these suspects who ran away and those who committed this crime. We condemn in no uncertain terms this incident and want to assure Ghanaians that the ministers of the Interior, the Ghana Police Service, and the security apparatus are working very hard. And any attempt to suggest that the security of this country is broken down is not true. We are working, and we can assure you that very soon the perpetrators of this crime will be brought to book. May I humbly appeal to the good people of this country to work hand in hand with the stakeholders or the security agencies by providing information so that together we can make Ghana a comfortable place for us to do business, for us to sleep. Because after all, the work of the Ghana police is to protect lives and properties. And I assure Ghanaians that Mr. President has it on his heart that we shall do so without fear or favor.
Now, the widow of the officer who was killed has also been speaking with Joy News.
Miti asamana nanya better emame because me kuno kra me Saturday no say or night until obaba until mostly no obebe fia 4:30 hono na waba until me dekan ebe bie gate no se na be ya oba obetumi refu mpia 4:35 wamba 5:30 wamba 6 o'clock. Let me say, oh, now another papa de ebanese because so obeko baby so for night obe on befi obeko baby waka kire me say enti o ya ordinary egu na ekemu se na be ya ode be ko afi wan kan kire me ebo sis na wan ma no. Let me say, oh, na papa o baby na wan kra me ana wan kan kire me ana ana make a chen kwala na say, oh, ene de be kwa sorry anything no omunko yi atare na ye ntoso na daddy wo for night bo anya ade obetumi akọ asọrọ nti obeda kakra enti no me wo wa na akọ me smo ga ne be from me say ma ye hwehwe me pie ya police ne ba akọ ayi ne ti wo area ha ana obaye pe no be bisa me say ma daddy wo he na me so okọ night ana so enti me friend ni number man no hwe enti me friend number no me friend no na ye engage sakawa me wo na me san friend kakra me friend na ekọ but obi amfa na me say me boni din say bra Israel ade asam na aba bibi na ka che so oti bibi se bia ayo no anasa enyo no na me say oh sa enti me friend me sister odi mechi ne kuno no so ye inspector Jeble Ashlevi. Me friend na do kan say o ba me ho. Ana me bi say na no petututu ba me ho. Wan ba me ha say da. Na eba ne say o so esa me ba wo ho. Na me so yo. Mati wo ba me ho. Ahwa na me a bibi sati say me na me say da bi. Enti me friend Israel na ka bi sa ne say bibi ni omombo mama ne. O so da bi say bra Eric so o ba de a and or tran na bani de e pe se omo ka ho omo kumiku ni na che se investigation no omo nye na ba no omo betwa ye ni na wo hwe ye na ya mobo na nkwala no sisi de wo ja ye hoki aya yenya se ne pe na che se no anu no.
Right, so Esther Shilevi is the wife of the police officer who was killed in the Kwabenya incident. Esther, at the very tail end of that interview, she was just talking about the fact that she has 5 children, or together there are 5 children that the deceased left behind, and she is appealing to government to support her to raise the 5 children, because she knows that once the husband is buried, that would be the end of the story. She had earlier been narrating how she got the news. She talked about the fact that she was waiting for the husband to return from duty and he wasn't, and she got in touch with some colleagues and a relative of the husband who told her that he had some information he wasn't sure, and that he was coming to the house to come and give her some news. Eventually, she got to know that indeed the husband has passed. She's hoping that those involved in the killing of the husband will be brought to book. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're moving on to some other stories now. The election of polling station executives for the new governing Patriotic Party in the Wa Central constituency were disrupted by some persons said to be supporters of the party on Sunday. Thousands of Ghana cedis worth of property was destroyed in the incident. The assailants are said to be supporters of the Wa Central constituency chairman, but Ali Kamara says he has not instigated any attack. Joy News' Upper West Region correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
An ordinary new Patriotic Party polling station executive election was limping into the closing stages in the Wa Central constituency when it turned chaotic. First was a clash at Dobley Catholic School, but for the timely intervention of the police and the military, the clash between supporters of the Wa Central constituency chairman, Ali Kamara, who is seeking re-election, against his vice, Chief Isaku Siddiq, believed to be strongly supported by the Wa Municipal Chief Executive, Tari Isaku Momen, would have been bloody. The duo has been sworn enemies for the past 6 years, to the point that they don't see eye to eye with each other. Chairman Ali Kamara accused the Wa Municipal Chief Executive, Tari Isaku Momen, of meddling in the polling station executive election for his favorite.
He's just putting his efforts, anything, just to take me away from the chairmanship. My brother, you are enjoying your MCA. I'm not enjoying it. It's time for me to enjoy my chairmanship. Today, you want to hijack the chairmanship too. My brother, please, I beg. For that one, I will not agree, and I will not allow him to intimidate any polling station.
Tari Isaku Momen, however, denied the claim.
I don't support anybody against a chairman. In any case, I don't know how my support can influence, the decision of the delegates, because there were times I have run for primaries 2 times, and both instances I won, and there were times when people don't support me, but I won. So I don't see how, I as municipal chief executive can influence people.
Zongo electoral area coordinator of the MPP, Muazu Mohammed Akram, alleged that he was attacked, beaten and robbed off the area's electoral register by some 2 known members of the MPP.
We're able to finish level with just 1 person for us to submit those forms. So just yesterday, then I went to the house to pick the forms and then come to fill the other one and then submit. So I saw a waiver with the MCE. So those people, I don't know where they were hiding, they came and then attacked me with the forms. So we were just struggling with it. Finally, a lot of people just advised that I should leave the forms with them, which I complied. So they took the forms away. That's what happened.
Meanwhile, Upper West Regional Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Hafiz bin Saleh, who visited the area in the company of other regional executives of the MPP, has condemned the attack and called on the police to quickly investigate and apprehend the culprits.
Exceedingly concerned about what went about yesterday. The destruction is massive. We've visited 3 or 4 houses where massive vandalization took place. Personal property were destroyed. In some cases, monies were stolen, and that is unfortunate. So for us, it is criminal for anybody to do such a thing. And we are entreating upon the police service to activate their investigative machinery so that the culprits will be uprooted and then measures taken against them.
People have always been arrested in cases like this, but they never found their way in court. Even if they are in court, they are acquitted and discharged.
Then we have to be talking to our judges. But for us as a political parties, we think that nobody should be spared at all, and we are not going to protect anybody. We are in charge of the governance of this country, and we don't want the country to become lawless. Whichever political party that person belongs to, the law must take its course, and we are not going to protect anybody.
You're watching Joy News Prime. Information Minister Mustafa Hamid has assured Ghanaians that Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is currently away on medical leave in the UK, is doing well. The Vice President left the jurisdiction for the UK after his doctor said he was unwell. He has been addressing a news conference today.
You are aware that the Vice President of the Republic, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is currently on medical leave in London. We wish to report that he's doing very well. The Chief of Staff and other senior government officials have been talking to him. God willing, he'll be back home shortly to resume his duties.
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break. We'll bring you business news now.
Hello again, good evening to you. Welcome to Business. My government has begun negotiations to establish a 5,000-acre industrial city and economic zone. The city to be sited in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, will provide basic infrastructure for economic activities as well as potential investors who will be relocating to the region. Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Chamantin, who revealed this to journalists, said this will be the biggest industrial park in the country to be established by the state. There's more in the following report.
Industrial parks are crucial to the development agenda of the country, especially when government desires to strengthen the economy through industrial transformation. Beside the export processing zones managed by the Ghana Free Zones Authority in some parts of the country, Ghana is about to have another industrial and economic zone to be located in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Chamantin, explains what this development will mean to investors.
Hopefully, this will be developed together with the private sector. And then we have a big one that is coming up, which is called the Greater Kumasi Industrial City and Special Economic Zone. That is almost 5,000 acres. Again, we are working with a number of private sector investors to be able to develop that industrial city. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can appreciate that a lot of work is already being done, albeit quietly. And I am very hopeful that within the next year, within the next 2 years, these industrial parks will become the attraction all over the world, and that we can bring in private sector anchor customers who then can support government in its industrialization drive. And then also it provides an opportunity for local investors also to be able to locate their industries in enclaves that provide reliable supply of energy, reliable supply of water. You can see the infrastructure, first-class road network, and that is where I think Ghana is leading to.
He made the disclosure after touring the newly established Dawa Industrial Zone in the Greater Accra region. The project is being put together by LMI Holdings to support industrial transformation in the country. Ernesto Wusuafari is the Director of Power Business at LMI Holdings.
Also aim to provide them a facility which is efficient. You know, you have electricity available for most of the time. In fact, last year at our other location in Tema Free Zone area, electricity availability was in excess of 98.5% of the time. That is far superior to availability elsewhere. So electricity, the stability and the quality of the power that is provided is also key. We provide common user facilities like security, like high-speed data, the drainage, and the entire ambience of the place is of world-class standards.
The project is an $80 million investment expected to accommodate more than 100 industries.
The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is making a case for the Bank of Ghana to come up with a regulatory framework aimed at tackling the increasing average rates in the financial market. Some industry players continue to criticize the sustained decreasing policy rate, while average lending rates remain on the higher side. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank has maintained the policy rate at 20%, citing threats of inflation in the coming months. Charles Aite has been speaking with the CEO of the AGI, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, and has come through with this report.
The Monetary Policy Committee has maintained the policy rate at 20%, but local industries say they wish more could be done about the reduction or maintenance of the policy rate. We're currently here at the head office of the Association of Ghana Industries, where the Chief Executive Officer, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, is insisting that more needs to be done to reduce the policy rate in order to foster growth in the private sector.
For businesses, cost of production is key, and a major determinant of the cost of production, or a major factor, is the cost of borrowing. And businesses have been crying for a reduction in the interest rates. So anything that would be done to improve that situation, it needs to be done. And the major factor here is the policy rate. So if for a year we've had that consistent stability, then probably we could have been slightly more ambitious. I can appreciate the governor's position that if you are expecting some inflationary trend, increase in inflation, then you are cautious in determining the policy rate. But you know, caution is good. But for business people, we are also ambitious. We want to see a significant and drastic change in the system.
In the wake of the maintenance of the policy rate by 20%, one key issue that most industry players are looking out for is whether or not the maintenance is going to be reflected in the average lending rate. Of course, several industry players over the past few years have raised concern over the disconnect between the monetary policy rate as well as the average lending rate. Because in 2017, for example, in as much as the monetary policy rate was reduced significantly, we had the average lending rate across the financial institutions reduced by a little over 7%. Seth Chuma Kwabwa insists that government would have to put in place a collaborative effort in the reduction of interest rates. He believes this is the best way to go despite the achievement in the macroeconomic outlook.
What I believe, or what AGR has been saying, is that Bank of Ghana needs to intervene a little bit in the interest rate situation. And I'm sure there are other means of doing that, not just fixing a cap. For example, developing a formula. You remember way back, there was a formula developed for determining the interest rate, so that within certain ranges, within certain parameters, interest rates would fall within a range, you know. And if you use that formula and you ensure that they are strictly adhering to it, I'm sure we'll see improvement in that area. The other thing has also been government's own borrowing. And significantly, we've seen improvement in government borrowing by way of the treasury bill rate. Treasury bill rate has fallen quite, significantly. So government has done well as far as competing with the private sector in the financial market is concerned. So there has been that improvement. And what I'm trying to say, there are other different ways of looking at it. Our position has been that whatever it is to bring it down, do it. Capping the interest rate is one of such measures, but I wouldn't say is the best prescription at all times. If at this particular moment we think that is the best solution, we can look at it again. But it is one of the options to look at, not necessarily the very final option.
Based on the analysis by the Chief Executive Officer of the AGI, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, it is clear that the private sector is very much keen on getting to know where they lie when it comes to the interest rate and its reduction. From the AGI office here at the La Trade Fair Center in Accra, this is Charles Aite reporting.
Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel emerged the best 5-star hotel in 2017 at the 3rd Ghana Hotels Association Awards 2017. The ceremony also recognized several other hotels for distinguishing themselves in various categories, as well as some deserving individual personalities. Chairman for the occasion and Lifetime Award recipient Hudson Kojo Ablodepe called for the abolition of some industry laws, which he noted are undermining the hospitality sector.
The hospitality industry is a lifeline to the tourism sector, as many tourists, both local and international, will have to be accommodated during their period of stay. In all, 24 hotels and individuals were rewarded for their exemplary performance last year at the 3rd Ghana Hotels Association Awards. It is under the theme harnessing the economic potential of the hotel industry through technology, innovation and cost reduction, brought together a section of members and other industry players across the country. Chairman of the occasion, Hudson Kojo Ablodepe, criticized the multiple requirements for the sector and urged government to consider scrapping some of them.
A case in point is the Spirit License Amendment Ordinance of 1928, which is quite obsolete in modern-day 24-hour operations of the accommodation enterprises. This 1928 law was abolished in the UK in 1968 in order to satisfy American European tourism markets. The TV Licensing Act of 1996, NLCD 89 of Ghana, which mandates the collection of license fees from individuals and households and repairers. The law has caused a huge outcry, with majority of Ghanaians not willing to pay, and the law must be scrapped.
Coconut Grove Hotel won the Best Hotel of the Year conference and banqueting team category, while Africa Regent was adjudged the Best Hotel, Food and Beverage Team of the Year. The winner for the 4th and 5-star hotel Best Housekeeping Team of the Year was Golden Tulip. Royal Century and Labadi Beach Hotels jointly won the Best Food and Beverage Teams of the Year.
And that's all in business for tonight. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Apuaji Riafi. Have a good night.
Now, academic work was disrupted Monday at Jama Peng Sang Senior High and Technical School at Akwa East in the Ashanti region, following rioting by the students there Sunday night. Police have been deployed to maintain peace in the school following the destruction of property. Love News' Kwesi Deborah has been speaking to school authorities, the district chief executive, and health officials who treated some students injured in the process.
That's the situation I was coming. When I got to Awasuta, I realized that these students and some of the town boys with our bodies, I think they were waiting for me because
House mistress Susanna Entry, a victim of attack, recounts her ordeal. The students, largely males, were said to be enraged by refusal of authorities to allow them to organize entertainment and sporting activities. They vandalized electric bulbs and furniture at the dining hall, then the school's polytank water reservoirs before storming the housemaster and headmaster's bungalows. Headmaster's wife had a share of the rampage as a consumer goods store was broken into and looted. Headmaster Kojo Yadomboache had to seek refuge in a nearby town. District Chief Executive for Sesibe Bonsu, who rushed to the school upon hearing the news, is worried about what he says is becoming rampant student violence in the area. He, however, rules out closure of the school as a result of the latest incident.
We've heard that, but we want to set a committee to investigate the whole thing and come out with our recommendations, see how best we solve the problem. But going around, we saw that there's a set of damages caused to school properties, the headmaster's bungalow, and a lot of things. We assess the damages and see the costs involved. So what we are going to do now is that after the meeting, we may set a committee to investigate. We bring experts to call to assess the extent of damages so that we know the cost, the extent of damage that has been caused.
Ashanti Regional Student Representative Council says though students have received orientation on grievance communication, there's still work to be done. Raphael Sarkodia is coordinator.
I recall, there are about 3 schools hosted, as well, the orientation hosted by Jama Pensan. So for me, you look at the kind of response we had from there, you would expect that if they have any challenges, because what we told them that when you have a challenge, there's a zonal level, there's a regional level that you take all these concerns if you cannot address it at the local level. And for me, even the particular concern that generated this particular protestations from the students, it's even more worrying because you realize that this is a very simple thing that can be addressed.
Meanwhile, only 2 out of about 10 students who suffered minor injuries and admitted at Abuaso Government Hospital remain at the facility. Ekwiajiman is principal physician assistant.
There's not any serious injury. We just have only 2 people who have minor cuts, minor laceration, and they were seized, that is all.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Securing a seat in class at the Inkpani Primary School in the Pandai district of the Northern region is for the swift. Pupils raise every morning for small planks placed on the floor in the classroom. Those who are not so lucky would have to sit through classes seated on the bare floor, jostle on the few benches available, but without tables. Jojo Kobana reports a situation which is not exclusive to the Inkpani Primary School is negatively affecting education in the entire district.
Welcome to Impani DA School in the Pandai district of the Northern Region. It is time for morning assembly.
Hey, patience, patience.
Show me, my daddy saw me.
Are you hungry? Say it loudly. Those who are over there, will they hear you?
Saw me, my daddy saw me. Saw me, my daddy saw me. If you want to, the teacher do so. My daddy saw me.
Pupils start marching to their classroom, but for primary 5, they have no classroom, so they march under a tree for school lessons. Awi Lydia is 11 years and passionate about school. According to her teacher, she never misses school and is always eager to answer questions even if the answer is wrong.
The tree is wet.
Wet. Clap for her.
Lydia is not happy that her class sits under a tree to study, but what worries her more is the conditions under which pupils in Nursery 1, Kindergarten and Primary 1 study.
The chairs is not there. The one the children sit in the floor is not good. I want them to help us to have the chairs.
So I moved to find out how pupils in lower classes study. To be guaranteed a seat where it is just a piece of wood on the bare floor, pupils would have to raise. Over 200 pupils crammed in a classroom. It is stressful controlling all these children. The teacher says to create a sense of order, some Nursery 1 to Kindergarten pupils are sent outside after marking the register. As I travel through many communities in Pandai, I'm becoming very numb to situations like this. Unfortunately, they do not have tutors to instruct them, and so they just slam it hard here, sometimes on pieces of wood. This reflects the sad state of education here in Pandai. Pupils in Primary 3 do not have enough furniture, so others sit on the floor while many others cram on a bench. Madamba Innocent, the headmaster, says the school has only 3 teachers, and so teaching all the classes becomes difficult.
We don't know why it's happened so, because we are only 3 and we are managing the upper primary. We sometimes go there and help them because they don't have permanent teacher. We do graduate, we do teach them sometimes, but we graduate those who are good. We do selections and graduate them. No odd. We don't send them as others classes.
Awi Lydia wants government to be fair to them and provide them good infrastructure and learning materials.
But school is not good. I want them, masters is not there. I want them to help us. We have the master. This school is be nice.
The district chief executive of Pandai, Kofi Tatablata, is aware of the challenges facing many schools in his district, but says his district is not generating enough money to solve the problem.
When you go to a school like the DA primary, we still have some of the students that are lying on the floor. There's no furniture. As the DC, I feel bad because I am the head of the district. I represent the president in the district. And as and when I see those things, I feel bad and I feel ashamed. There are avenues for us to raise revenue, and I think we are doing that. But what we are expecting is not coming like the way we should have been getting it.
If conditions here are not improved, the gap between rural and urban education would continue to widen. Jojo Kobner, Joy News.
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break, but we have quite a few stories still to come in the bulletin, one of them being the sad news that senior citizen and retired diplomat Kweku Bapriu Asante, or KB Asante, has died. And then the story about the teachers at Eduma and SHS embarking on a sit-down strike to demand the removal of the school's headmaster seen in video footage having sex with one of the students is also yet to come. Teachers of the Eduma and SHS in the Ashanti region have begun a 3-day sit-down strike in protest for the removal of the headmaster, Francis Yao Agozo. The action, which has ceased teaching and learning in the school, has become necessary because teachers claim there is a leadership vacuum. Teachers are worried the head teacher's demeanor and disrespect to the teachers is stifling teacher initiative and commitment to work. Prince Apia reports.
Amidst drumming and singing, the agitated teachers who wore red and black outfits abandoned their classrooms and sat under trees. They say the headmaster's demeanor and disrespect to the teachers are stifling teacher initiative and commitment to work, adding he will need counseling even after his removal. The teachers also accuse Mr. Agozo of victimizing members of staff who are often not on his side. Spokesperson Kwesi Owusu says they are compelled to resort to such action at a failed bid to get district and regional education authorities to address the matter.
He insulted two of our teachers. The first one was sent to the regional director of education. After the whole thing, he came and told us in a meeting that he was referred to the guidance and counseling coordinator to give him advice, but he said he did not go because he preferred her mother's advice to that of the guidance and counseling coordinator. We thought things have changed, but it didn't change until just last 3-4 weeks ago he did insult one of our teachers again. Intolerance in any meeting with this headmaster, anything that anybody says that is not in line with his, he will not agree with you and threaten to take you out of the school. I will transfer you.
So what happens after 5 days and you don't get what exactly you want and he's still at post?
We will put it close at our chest. We will unveil everything as and when it happens.
School matron Nana Santua recounts some instances.
Sometimes his utterances and his demeanor is uncalled for. Me, I believe in good human relations. Whether a student, staff, cook, conservancy laborer, is a human being. We all come together to make this school Eduma Senior High School. But when you undermine somebody or you don't respect, you just insult, slapping, even the soppy people. Sometimes you throw stones, slap. He needs counseling.
Mr. Agozo won't comment on the issue, insisting the matter is before the GES. So this is one of the Form 3 classes here at Eduma Senior High School. On a normal day, there should be a teacher here teaching the students. But today they are trying to do their own thing. We are told by authorities that this is going to be the situation from now till Friday, no teaching, no learning. If authorities do not come to their aid to address this impasse between teachers and the headmaster of this school. My name is Prince Apia, reporting.
Now, many Zongo communities across the country, marrying young is common. This is because many of the girls in such communities have little or no motivation to go to school or pursue a career. In today's edition of Joy News Agenda, focusing on Zongos, Matilda Pamega tells the story of a young woman at Ashamang Zongo who quit her 6-year-old marriage to pursue her true dreams, having tied the knot at a rather young age. Pati Sifu is now advocating for a scholarship scheme and counseling units to address the growing demands of Zongo youth.
Over
the years, communities such as the Ashaiman Zongo have been left behind in development planning, which most often than not results in their needs not being properly identified. This results in the lack of basic social amenities. With the coming of government's flagship Zongo Development Fund, this is expected to bridge the development gap in densely populated communities such as the Ashaiman Zongo. The Ashaiman Zongo is obviously one of the most prominent and frequently mentioned Zongo communities in Ghana. Beyond the slum, the insanitary conditions and the negative perception of persons born and raised in Zongo, the status quo is gradually changing. Inside one of Ashaiman beauty salons, Fati does makeup for women in this area. Fati is a young lady in her late 20s. She was born and raised in this community. She married at a very young age. Fati believes young ladies in Zongo communities who missed out on formal education can still make something meaningful out of their lives.
Most of our parents are being influenced by money. So in this case, when the person just comes in and has something small to give to the parent, and they are confused. So our parents should just exercise patience. Sometimes they should listen to us. Your girlfriend will get married, and she's like, she'll be throwing the veils at you and stuff. Sometimes.
So, okay, the veil which symbolizes the marriage.
You know, sometimes when you depend on the men, they are not very supportive. You end up just being home, doing nothing and useless. So it's about time we just rise to our feet and do what's best. In this modern era, things are changing by the grace of God. Girls are being encouraged to enroll themselves into schools and other trades.
Part of the 100 million cedi Zongo Development Fund must also be targeted at creating counseling units within the Zongo communities. Fati and her friends believe this is one surest way of shaping the mindset of the youth in the Zongos.
You can ensemble all the youth at a spot. So when there is a counseling unit in a spot where if the child or the youth is having challenges, is having any problem, where he or she can confide in a person to bring out her issues to be addressed, I think that would help.
Through their own efforts and support of family and friends, these young women are already building themselves up with a career. They have high hope the Zongo Development Fund will go a long way to improve lives, only if a non-partisan approach is adopted towards the distribution of projects under the fund. This is of concern to the chief of Ashaiman Zongo, Alhaji Ibrahim Salisu, and some opinion leaders.
But I think if we don't play politics, it will go a long way to go. Because in terms of any outbreaks, it doesn't know any political affiliation. We'll be all affected. So I think when we don't play politics, it will be good for us all.
The development fund can succeed if they put the partisan thing aside. Because when the thing started, the last time when the minister came, as if, it belongs to one person. And they forget that whenever they voted, they all belong to us.
The Zongo Development Fund is one of government's flagship programs aimed at bridging the development gap in the country. For Joy News, Matilda Pamaga, Ashaiman Zongo.
Senior citizen and retired diplomat Kweku Bapriu Asante has died. The family of the 93-year-old statesman confirmed his passing on Monday morning and have since deposited his remains at the morgue. Joining us, Joseph Akable visited the residence of the late diplomat and reports his relatives have started setting up the place in anticipation of many sympathizers who will be calling on the family. We'll bring you that report, but first here is a profile of the late diplomat.
Born on March 1, 1924, KB Asante was the secretary to Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and served under a number of heads of states in Ghana. He also served as the principal secretary at African Affairs Secretariat from 1960 to 1966. Mr. Asante was Ghana's ambassador to Switzerland and the United Nations offices in Geneva and the UN establishment in Vienna. He also served as the ambassador to Belgium, Luxembourg, and the European Economic Community from 1976 to 1978. KB Asante retired from civil service in 1978 to form the Social Democratic Front to contest the 1979 election, where his party won 3 parliamentary seats in that election. Mr. Asante became the Secretary for Trade and Tourism in the Provisional National Defense Council, PNDC administration in 1982, and later Secretary for Education and Culture from 1986 to 1990. KB Asante attended Achimota School, where he later taught mathematics from 1945 to 1948, before proceeding to Durham University in Britain, where he obtained a BSc Mathematics in 1952. Mr. Asante also became a member of the Institute of Statisticians in 1953, before again returning to Achimota College, where he continued teaching mathematics from 1953 to 1955. May his soul rest in peace.
At his residence, joining us with Joseph Akabale reports relatives are yet to get over the loss.
Information from family members indicates that the late diplomat passed on while in his sleep. It happened in the early hours of Monday, and at about 7:30 a.m. when some individuals went into his room to try and wake him, as they do each day, they realized that he had passed on. The second issue is that the family tells us that he has been unwell for some time but was receiving treatment, but unfortunately gave up the ghost, that is, on Monday morning. So what the family is doing at his residence here at Lies, that they are putting the necessary arrangement in place to ensure that the many people who will be coming over to commiserate with the family, there will be a place where they can sit and engage the family. So a canopy has been mounted right behind me to ensure that space is provided for that individual. The family say that it's still early days and they are trying to put their thoughts together and inform all relevant stakeholders within the family about the demise, and once that is done, they will engage the public at large generally. For Joy News, Joseph Akabale.
You're watching Joy News Prime Time now for a quick recap of our top stories. Residents of Kwabenya and its environs say they feel extremely vulnerable following the attack on the Kwabenya police station, in which one police officer was killed Sunday dawn. The wife of the police officer who died has been speaking about the loss. Police have meanwhile denied reports 6 of the suspects who broke jail have turned themselves in. Information Minister Mustafa Hamid has assured Ghanaians Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is currently away on medical leave in the UK, is doing well. In business, potential investors who want to locate in Kumasi to benefit from basic infrastructure to be provided within a new 5,000-acre industrial and economic zone.